You are Locked On 76ers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
You know, in my playing days, and when I say playing days, I peaked in freshman year of high school. That's pretty much where I peaked athletically. But in my playing days, I can remember a game when I was just a young fella. I remember we were getting blown out this one game, right? I remember my coach coming up, Coach Al Mayo, great guy. And we were just getting blown. We were getting the doors beat off us, right? You know, and we're on the stage because, you know, that's where you'd have your halftime meetings and stuff behind the curtain on the stage when you're a kid. Remember those days? And we're on the stage, and Coach Mayo was a tough SOB. I love this guy to this day. I just love the guy. And he comes comes up to the stage, and we're all looking at each other. Me and my buddies were just like, oh, man, Coach is going to kill us. He's absolutely just going to kill us and destroy us. And I remember he just took his glasses off, and he, like, rubbed the top of his nose and just like, anybody got any good jokes? And that's all he said. And I will never forget that for as long as I live, because we thought we were going to get the riot act read to us. And we had played terrible in that first half, and we made a game of it in the second half, thanks to his lighthearted nature, I guess. You know, normally a tough guy, real tough. But in that moment, knew that's not what we needed. But I tell you all that to tell you this. Really ask you this. Do you guys have any good jokes? Because, and this is no pun intended when playing a guy, you know, who's nicknamed the Joker, so I'm not going that direction with this, but that was so terrible. I need a joke, and I don't need a joke along the lines of, hey, the Sixers are good at basketball. like, thank you very much. I'm not looking for the dad jokes on this one. Okay, this was embarrassing. This was an utter embarrassment. Yeah, you could certainly make the pun of that game was a joke, because it was. Paul George plays 28 minutes and gets you 11 points in the game tonight. He makes his return to the lineup. Sixers, and I put this out on social media, they were put over their knee by Stan Van Gundy, and we'll talk about what he had to say about the Sixers. And no, he was not wrong in the least bit. So we'll get into that conversation. Tyrese Maxey's effort tonight, Guerschon Yabusele, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. We got a lot to get into tonight's show, but I do welcome you in. Welcome into Locked On Sports Philadelphia. This is Locked On Sports Philadelphia with your Locked On 76ers postcast. My name is Mark Farzetta. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on Locked On Sports Philadelphia. Hey, don't forget about the Locked On 76ers newsletter, one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. And start your day with the all-new free Locked On 76ers newsletter. This particular episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Now's the perfect time to join Prize Picks. Download the app today and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. No need to win to get the bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. 3 big things. Let me start off with something nice. Tyrese Maxey. I really like you, Tyrese Maxey. I like you a lot. 3 for 10 ain't going to get it done when it comes to shooting from beyond the arc. 28 points. You're the man. With Paul George being terrible at basketball, with Joel Embiid not being available, with anybody else that can even help you coming off the bench, whether it's Jared McCain out, KJ Martin out, Caleb Martin out, Andre Drummond barely there. Like these guys, but he played tonight at least. You know, with all these guys being out, Tyrese Maxey is like the only hope that the Sixers have, and the only hope Sixers fans have right now of at least being somewhat entertained during a basketball game. But I'll applaud him. 28 points on the night, 11 for 21 shooting. 3 for 10 from beyond the arc is certainly not something that the Sixers need. And 10 assists. Paul George did have 9 assists in tonight's game. After Paul George and Tyrese Maxey, the next highest assist total there was 3, shared by 2 76ers, Guerschon Yabusele and Eric Gordon. But Tyrese Maxey, I don't ever question the motivation. I don't ever question the effort from. But it was being questioned throughout tonight's basketball game. Again, we'll get to that in a minute. But just when it comes to Tyrese Maxey, I am never questioning that man's effort while he's there on the hardwood. And I have made comparisons with him before for other reasons when it comes to Allen Iverson, just in terms of attacking the rim, when it comes to his aggressiveness, when it comes to having a no-fear type of mentality, his speed and quickness, certainly. But when I see guys lollygagging around the court and I see Tyrese Maxey busting it on every play, that's something that is not going to be forgotten anytime soon by me. Guerschon Yabusele is another guy you could talk about with that. But first, Tyrese Maxey is number one. Number two, Guerschon Yabusele. Now, I know his name is going to get thrown around as it already is in trade discussions when it comes to what Yabu could be bringing. I don't want him gone. I want him staying here in Philadelphia. And what are the Sixers going to give away that's going to, like, can they acquire, I don't know, the fountain of youth, an elixir for Joel Embiid? No. Can they acquire a time machine where maybe they don't send Jimmy Butler away? Can they do that? Would that'd be a nice thing to do? But no, they can't do that. So with that being said, I don't want to trade Andre Drummond. I don't want to trade Guerschon Yabusele. What are you going to get back in return that is going to make this team that much better? Like, oh, now we got him for what we got for these guys. Like, the only thing I'm interested in if the Sixers trade anybody, Embiid. If they somehow unload Embiid for which is not going to happen at this point, so let's get this off our minds, but just to say, the only thing I would be like, hell yeah, make the trade, would be like Joel Embiid and you bring back a Rudy Gobert-esque haul in return for JoJo. That's the only thing, because then at least I'd be like, all right, this is the end of it. Now we can pursue something different. But Guerschon Yabusele tonight comes off the bench for the Sixers. He logs 24 minutes, gets you 22 points. Shoots 4 of 5 from beyond the arc. The rebound game wasn't really there for him tonight, unfortunately. He wasn't ripping them boards, but you had a guy like Joker ripping them left and right, so tough guy to compete with. But Guerschon Yabusele comes off the bench. Andre Drummond only gives you 20 minutes, but still 20 more minutes than he had been giving you, considering he'd been dealing with injury. But Guerschon Yabusele is the other guy that I don't have to question his work ethic, his mentality, or his hustle. This is a guy that plays as if playing over in France for 6 years was a sentence. It wasn't a blessing. And now that he's back in the NBA and playing really good basketball for a guy that was in France for as long as he was, for a guy that was considered to be a bust in Boston, he is coming over here and he is making every moment matter for him. And I love that about Guerschon Yabusele. Maxey number one. Guerschon number two. Number three. You know, Joker's good at basketball. This is nothing we didn't already know. But the guy that I need to talk about here, holy Stromboli, Stan Van Gundy. I don't know what rubbed him the horrible way that it did in this game. Maybe he was just offended that the Sixers weren't given any effort other than Tyrese Maxey, other than Guerschon when he finally checked into the game. But in the early goings of this ball game, and it was atrocious, 11-0 in fast break points. And then at the close of the first quarter, it was 18-0 18-2 at the close of the first quarter in fast break points. And I was like, okay, wait, am I missing a lot of turnovers here? What's going on? And no, it was all rebounds and pushing. That's all it was. It was all rebounds and pushing the ball up the court. And the Sixers were just left spinning their wheels. And Stan Van Gundy just was unloading. Again, I use the expression on social media. He put the Sixers over his knee. He absolutely did. And he wasn't wrong, and I was there for it. I was happy for it. I was loving what he was saying. But it got to a point where I was like, damn, is this personal? And I was trying to think about, like, Sixers versus Stan Van Gundy. The only thing I could think about was I don't even remember. It was in 09, 08? I don't even remember. When the Sixers played the Orlando Magic, coached by Stan Van Gundy. And that was the series where Dwight Howard, if you remember, elbowed Sam Dallenberg in the back of the head. That was also the series where Dwight Howard, oh, man, I'm going to mess up his first name. Was it Marcin Gortat? The Polish fellow, the Polish hammer? Those two centers, their starting center and their backup, were better than Sam Dallenberg. Sam Dallenberg was the third best third best center in that series. But I remember after that series, I remember it was Tony DeLeo that was subbing in as the coach for the rest of that season. And the Sixers are in the playoffs, and they're playing Stan Van Gundy's Orlando Magic. And Tony DeLeo's like, hey, they had a lot of 3 seconds. There's a lot of 3-second violations that weren't called. And I remember Stan Van Gundy went up for his press conference after Tony DeLeo. And he was just in that press conference, he was just like, 3 seconds. That's a big deal. Okay. Anyway, he was like, I really got to coach against this guy? Who is he? Did he win a contest to coach the Sixers? I got to coach against this guy? I'm like, he wouldn't harbor any hate from then. Like that, you really got to have a grudge over something as little as that. But I think he was just really offended by the fact that the Sixers had no effort. Very few and far between, I should say. Very few and far between. So some of the comments he was making is that the Sixers aren't hustling tonight. Nick Nurse has to do something about it. And then it was funny. They actually called a timeout during one of the big runs the Nuggets had in the early goings of the game. And they go to Nick Nurse after the timeout for the interview. And he's just like, we got to make shots. Okay, thanks, coach. Really didn't say anything about effort. Didn't say anything about hustle. Didn't throw his team under the bus. I don't know what he's saying post-game. I'll keep an eye out for it, but I haven't seen it. So he says that's the first thing he says. Then he says Sixers aren't getting back on defense. This is during the 11-0 run on fast break points for the Denver Nuggets. And then he said something along the lines of Sixers can't play without Embiid like this and expect to win. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's certainly true. And then he said something along the lines of the Sixers are so bad, even their parents are asking all of them to change their last names to stop embarrassing their family names. And I'm like, whoa, that's a little over the top, Stan Van Gundy. I may have taken some liberties with that one. He didn't say that. But Brian Anderson's like, you better calm down, Stan. Brian Anderson has a delivery on the national broadcast of like someone that if I had a dog and it died, I'd want him to tell me. Like he's got that kind of delivery where just everything sounds compassionate. He even seemed a little caught off guard when Stan Van Gundy was really giving it to the Sixers. But this is the part that actually kind of went, I was like, all right, dude, Stan, chill out, dude. And it was the Aaron Gordon charge on Tyrese Maxey. He was like, I thought this was a flop. Aaron Gordon lowers his shoulder and goes into Maxey, and I said it was a flop, and it should be, but it won't be. And they challenged it, and then you see Aaron Gordon lower the shoulder, put it in Maxey's chest. Maxey doesn't flop. He just gets hit really hard and doesn't go down to the hardwood until Aaron Gordon is finished trying to drive through Tyrese Maxey's body to the rim. And that's where Gundy was like, oh, yeah, I thought he flopped. I'm like, oh, did you there, Stanley? Is that what happened? I was like, that's just, all right. Now you're just being biased, ridiculously biased. And then in the fourth quarter, the Sixers are down 25 points. And he's just like, yeah, the Sixers put very little into this game. And I'm like, well, he's not wrong about that one either. But he was piling on tonight, man. And for the vast majority, other than the Maxey alleged flop, I agreed with what he was saying. And you know what? It was good to hear it on the national stage because as Sixers fans, we have been through far too much to be where we're at now. Far too much. And you guys know, I've got a special place in my heart for the 76ers, 76ers fan base. All that you guys have been through, all that you guys have embraced in the name of hope. Unfortunately, all for naught. All for naught. I rattled off the Josh Harris offenses recently. I don't need to do it again. But all you need to know is Doug Collins made it to a Game 7 of the second round of the playoffs. Doug Collins did that. Then the following year, the team sucked. They got rid of Doug. They brought in Sam. And still not past a Game 7 of the second round of the playoffs. So, hey, sports are fun. Aren't we having fun? We're having a great time. When we come back, we'll talk about what some of the bench players got into. And we'll also talk about, in particular, Paul George's night, because it was his first game back. Get into that more when we return. Also, hold on a second. A great tweet about the last time Joel Embiid played in Denver. This was fantastic. You have to see it. Well, I'll read it to you guys when we come back. It's Locked On Sports Philadelphia and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, Locked On 76ers Postcast. FanDuel. Hope you guys are having a lot of fun on FanDuel. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $350 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's $350. That's pretty amazing. So do yourself a favor. Take care of your business at FanDuel. The FanDuel app is easy to navigate and has a variety of bets to keep every game exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings, whether you're betting in your on your favorite team or just looking to add some extra added drama and excitement to the postseason. FanDuel has you covered. Right now, the Eagles opened up against the Commanders at 4.5-point favorites. Right now, they're at 6.5-point favorites. What's that tell you? Also, Kansas City Chiefs, 1.5-point favorites against the Buffalo Bills when they host the Bills, 6:30 on Sunday. Eagles kick off at 3 o'clock. Just visit FanDuel. That's FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $350 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, what should I give you first here? Should I give you the tweet? What should I do here? Let's go with the tweet first, okay? Because it'll hopefully inject some humor into the situation here. Saw this on NBA Retweet. The last time Joel Embiid played in Denver, 2019, by the way, for the record, okay? No one had heard of COVID. The Queen of England was still alive. Tom Brady was still playing quarterback for the New England Patriots. The weekend's blinding lights had not been released. Weekends, that's great. James Harden still a Rocket. And then I saw some other people having fun with it. It was like, the Denver Nuggets in black and white, and then somebody photoshopped in Joel Embiid back in the day, in like the 1970s. It's been a while. He hasn't played. He hasn't played in Denver in nearly 6 years. So it's been a while. Now, when he has played Joker, he's cooked Joker. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to get into the argument of who's better than who, because the answer is Nikola Jokic. Like, that's the end of it. So we don't even need to go further with that. But yeah, it would be nice if he would actually play. And that actually prompted a conversation on social media where I was talking to somebody about Stan Van Gundy's comments and all that. And they just responded with, like, these games don't matter anyway. And I said, oh, yeah, how so? How you figure these games don't matter? And it's like, if you're just a 10 or a 4 seed, it doesn't matter. You just got to win in the playoffs. I'm like, oh, well, at least we share the optimism. Maybe blind at this point that the Sixers should make at least the play-in tournament. So I like that. However, if they miss by a game, this could be it. So it does, in fact, matter. And the person responded with, well, here's one reason why it might not matter, because Joel Embiid's fat. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't argue with that. Makes such a fine point. Look, knee swelling is what it is. Out of shape, certainly. One of the dumb thoughts I had run through my brain when he was actually going to play for the USA national team at the Olympics was, well, at least he's playing basketball. At least I know that he's working out with the team and he's playing basketball in the off season, and he'll get the experience of playing with those guys and hopefully bring some of that hunger to Philadelphia. I was talking like I got, posters of the guy on my, bedroom wall, like I would have when I was 9. And that has just been the opposite. My feeling is more so than ever, his thirst for winning has been quenched by actually winning a gold medal with those guys. And I told you my little theory after he tried to throw it in our faces about all I've done for the city and all that stuff. I said, what was it? What if he went to play for Team USA, knowing that would be likely his last hurrah? What if he tried to play on this knee injury with the Sixers in the first round of the playoffs against the Knicks? What if he did that? Realized, wow, at 80%, that's all I got. I can't go any further, but I'm going to give what I got. And all he really had was probably 80% of health at the most. And still was the only chance that the Sixers had of winning, or at least making it a series and taking it to 6 games. So he goes, oh, this sucks. Okay, I'm going to go play in the Olympics. I'm going to go win, so I know at least what it's like to win something. And my son Arthur can see that I have a gold medal, and at least I have something from my career other than, the MVP trophy. I could say I was a champion, albeit Olympic champion, an Olympic gold medalist. What if that took away a lot of that gusto for Joel Embiid to play the game? And he's being as cautious as possible and still signs a 3-year contract extension and all that. I really hope that's not the case, but that's what it's looking more and more like. That's what it's looking more and more like. So to see him duck tonight's game, unfortunately, yeah. Reevaluated with the swelling in the next couple of days. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow he might get maybe Thursday. I think he gets reevaluated. Thursday he gets reevaluated. So that's a good time. That's a good time. Paul George. I mentioned him before the break. Paul George again tonight, 11 points, was a minus 15, had 3 turnovers, only 1 personal foul. There you go. 11 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, one of them on the offensive glass, 5 of 11 shooting. So 11 points for 11 shots. Not great. Did not make a trip to the free throw line. The Sixers in total, by the way, just while I'm mentioning the free throw line, the Sixers at the half had 5 free throws. They finished with 8. That's not ideal. Can we all are in the same page there? Great. They were 5 for 5 at halftime. They finished 6 of 8. The Denver Nuggets were 18 for 18 from the free throw line at the half, leading by 10, mind you, and they finished 24 of 25. 96% from the free throw line. Sixers far behind. Far behind. Huge discrepancy in free throws for tonight's basketball game. Paul George did not make a trip to the line. Paul George in tonight's game did not make a field goal in the second half of the game. He did not make a field goal in the second half of the game. I don't even think he shot in the fourth quarter, to be honest with you. He played 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, and then I think Nick Nurse was like, all right, I think that's enough. That's enough for him. He got some run in tonight. Again, 28 minutes for Paul George. This is the team we've chosen. This is the team we've chosen to back. And it ain't pretty. And I would love to say that in 2 weeks when the NBA trade deadline comes along that Daryl Morey's got some amazing move up his sleeve. I don't see it. But there is a horrifying thought that Paul George is cooked. There's a horrifying thought that Joel Embiid is cooked, especially with 5 years left. And that Tyrese Maxey is going to go through this entire season just wondering who's going to be the guy to step up and help him win, like legit. Hey, I love Guerschon, but I don't think that's it. I really like Kelly Oubre. Everyone breaks my stones about Kelly Oubre. I really like him. He didn't play well tonight. But he ain't it. You're looking at another rebuild. Just in time for a new stadium. Get your tickets now. When we come back, we'll take some of your comments on this one. I will also take a look at those bench players that I started talking about in the last segment. I want to make sure I get into that. That's when we return on the one bench player in particular. Talking about hustle, talking about trying to take advantage of opportunities. This is my man. And no, it's not Guerschon, who was technically a off-the-bench player tonight. That's when we return. Locked On Sports Philadelphia on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Locked On 76ers postcast. Prize Picks. Have yourself a great time with Prize Picks. Basketball season heating up. There's no better way to get real money action when watching your favorite NBA stars than with Prize Picks. Whether you're a diehard fan or just love some friendly competition, Prize Picks makes it fun and easy to turn your basketball knowledge into cold, hard cash. Here's how it works. Pick more or less on at least 2 players for their stat projection, and win up to 1,000 times your cash. Think LeBron James going to drop 30 points? Maybe Luka getting more than 8 assists in a game? Prize Picks. Prize Picks lets you make your predictions and put your money where your mouth is in just 60 seconds. Been using Prize Picks now really for about a year and a half, ever since I started here with Locked On during the 76ers season last year. Let me tell you, Prize Picks is a great time. Again, looking for that friendly competition, looking to make a game a little bit more exciting. That's where it's at. Looking at Jason Tatum's numbers, looking at Anthony Edwards' numbers, whoever it might be, it's a lot of fun in the NBA. It's the kind of action I'm talking about when you have fun with Prize Picks. You have flex play option as well, and even if one of my picks doesn't hit, I can still double my money. Plus, once I hit, I get my money fast. sometimes as quick as 15 minutes. It's honestly the best way to keep the game exciting, even if it's, like 144 to 109. Now that's the perfect time. Right now is actually the perfect time. Join and download the app today and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA and get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. Don't even need to win to get the bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. One guy, again, not Guerschon Yabusele, but coming off the bench tonight to at least try to get some minutes and try to put some good film on. And that was actually one of the things. I very rarely do announcers catch my attention. I got my own thoughts going on, my own ADD, so I don't need to listen. But what Stan Van Gundy was saying about putting good minutes on, like it's the same thing we say in the NFL in the preseason or any opportunity to get to step on the football field. Week 18 of a meaningless game, you want to see guys be on the floor or be on, in this case, be on the floor in this case, but also in the NFL, be on the field. So I'm watching Justin Edwards tonight, and I, again, just see no fear from him. And you guys know I've been banging that drum, really ever since he made his debut a couple of weeks ago. He gets 28 minutes on the floor tonight. He got first quarter minutes as he and Guerschon were first off the bench in the first quarter. Justin Edwards goes 3 of 7 from beyond the arc, gets you 11 points in the process. Unfortunately, minus 18 on the evening, and 4 for 10 from the floor in general. No trips to the free throw line, which was obviously, again, not a rare thing for any 76er, and pulls you down 3 boards. But what impresses me about him is just the fearless attitude in which he goes about playing the game of basketball. This guy's not guaranteed anything. Everything is up to him in terms of taking advantage of the minutes. Would tonight be an example of taking best advantage of the minutes? Hey, double digits in scoring is never anything to just ignore and say it's nothing. He got what he was able to get tonight. Knocked down those threes, got 9 points just from doing that. Sixers are going to need a hell of a lot more of that down the stretch. But again, he did not look too small for the moment. He looked like a guy that wanted to go out there and take advantage of every opportunity, every second that he was going to get out there on the court. And now you're seeing this maturation process of him. I know I use that word a lot, but you're seeing that with him. And then you're seeing a guy like Ricky Council, the fourth, kind of go by the wayside. And that's not something the Sixers can really afford at this point, considering so many other players are not available. And considering you also just dropped a 7th straight game. You also just dropped to, you got the Cavs coming up next too. So that's probably an 8th straight loss, right? Sixers also dropped to 12 games under 500, which I believe is their season high. 15-27 on the season. Not great. And of course, Tyrese Maxey is going to be putting up incredible numbers in terms of points per game during this because he's all they got. Hat tip moment. Nikola Jokic is really good at basketball. He recorded a triple-double with a little over 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and then he was done. And then he had a vacation for the rest of the night. Good job by him. Yeesh. It's 4th straight game with a triple-double, I believe it was. Yeah, that's great. And also, it was 27 points, 13. Do I have it in the graphic? I do. 27 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. Let's see what we got in the chat going on here right now. Go Lakers, says BC. Thanks for stopping by. LeBron's the GOAT. That's not true. Michael Jordan is. BC, a dabbing emoji. A dabbing emoji. Thank you. Polar Buck, what's going on? I miss you, Farzi. Phillies countdown is on. Damn right it's on. Go Sixers, go Birds. Excuse me. Go Phillies, go Birds. That's what I meant to put out there in my tease post that we were doing the show tonight, of course. Go Birds. I forgot to put that one in there. I got them beating the Commanders, by the way. As I mentioned a second ago, the Sixers, they take some time off. You take some time off for the Sixers, and they'll be back at it Friday night against the Cleveland Cavaliers. You know what's going to be fun about that game? I'll tell you. I'm married into a Cleveland family. Okay. My in-laws are proud Ohio people, very happy. They're Ohio State grads. So they love that Ohio State won the national championship and all that stuff. I just told them, you're lucky you guys didn't play Temple this year. Anyway, so they're going to be in town for this Cleveland Cavaliers game. That's going to be a boatload of fun for me. Cavaliers are 36-16 on the season. In case you've been trapped under something heavy, they're really, really good at basketball this year. Anyway, so that's not great. Polar Buck, you made my night. Well, how about this, Polar Buck? You made my night. How about that? Sixers back at it, 7:00 tip-off in South Philadelphia. That'll be Friday night, again, 7:00 against the Cavs. Good times. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This right here is Locked On Sports Philadelphia, Locked On 76ers Postcast. I'll be back with you guys Friday night. Until then, hey, stay warm, especially on the East Coast, everybody. Catch you guys Friday. Be well. Bye.